housing stud. Welcome back. Sean here, Mountains Garage. Sunday morning edition. I started with a clip. You'll see me able to spin the alignment rod for the narrowing jig. I feel I got pretty lucky. I had one big pass around the tubes, and then got ready to finally do the ends. Everything was loose. I welded. I knew I was gonna have to go 2 passes on the outside the way the bevel was. One small root pass and then a larger outside pass. And I did the root pass first on both sides, and the last 1/4 inch I welded, the rod was tight. And then I ran out of time last night. So all night long I'm thinking about it, and it's bugging the heck out of me. So I came outside without a plan really, and I welded all the way around, going in larger segments because at this point I don't know. I know it was on that side that did it, but I could make it worse, I can make it better. I went all the way around this side. The rod was still tight. I got all but a 1/2 inch on the other side, and I reached up and the rod was loose. I said, now I got to go 1/2 inch more without it being tight, and I'll consider it perfect. And I was able to do so. So, whew, that was all right. My drain port and jacking post, I didn't do anything here. The worst parking was right where this was going to be, and I just went ahead and laid some fat welds on this baby. You can see where all the heat goes when you got a small piece compared to the housing. So that's good. Just got to put my magnetic drain plug in. I put my studs on the top. Normally my brake hose, and it will be coming down the driver's side, but this particular truck has a cross member up here, and the brake line bracket's right here. So it's gonna kind of flop this way. So I put the longer stud on this side. Actually that bolt's a little long, it's a 1/4 inch bolt. I just grind the heads off them, or grind the flats off the 7/16 hex. And to get all the plating off is what I'm trying to do. Is when I weld it, it doesn't, hurt me, the gas coming off the plating. So, and just some 1/4 by 3/4 on here. I'll be able to tie my brake lines down. That's done. I brought it over near the MIG welder. It was easier because I only had to put a couple welds on the inside. Right here and here, just to kind of lock it in. It kind of replaced the rosette welds that I didn't do. And was able to take the jig off without any drama. So now I just put my last housing stud in with my wheel bearing installer. Works slick in the heck. The old Milwaukee M18. I'm going to sand it up a little bit and give it a paint job. And finally, well, it really didn't take that long, a couple days, what I consider the fun part. I love final assembly. I spend hours trying to have most of the parts I need in stock. Something like this, I've been saving parts for years actually, but here it is, going together. So I put on my stuff I showed the other day, the vent, the brake hose, my drain plug's over here. A wise plumber once told me that if it's semi-permanent, to wrap it in Teflon tape and then put Teflon goo on it. That drain plug hopefully won't come out for quite a while, but you never know. My lube blocker gaskets on there. I have the genuine, these are actually made by Raytech, copper washes that go under the head of the 3/8 fine thread nylocks that hold the third member into the housing. I dug through, in the heat of the afternoon, I dug through I only had 4 of them. Third member's ready to go. I have a 315 with a steel case, 3 1/4 Baron, Detroit locker. It's actually a rim polished ring and pinion NASCAR leftover stuff. And that is intended for my 56 wagon with the Doug Nash 4+1 5-speed with a really low first gear. It's an experiment they did back in the 80s. Poor man's overdrive. First gear is really low. High gear is still 1-to-1. You run a, a 3, low 3, high 2 gear, rear gear, and it gives you the best of both worlds. That's the plan for the 56 wagon. It lives outside right now in an old trailer, but it's still here on the property, and it's up here. I had a 411 3¼ Baron case, steel. These all have Daytona pinion supports. That was a 411 with a spool, also 31 spline, which this is going to be, this rear end, 31 spline axle, 28 spline pinion, small pinion. I don't want a spool. Again, this is somewhat of a hot rod truck. I still want to use it as a truck, but I want it to, it's going to have 460 horsepower if it goes as planned with that ATK 6-liter, 480E, and I found a 370 gear Detroit locker steel case, 3¼ Baron, etc., etc. And it was between the 370 and this one, which is 360 gear. When my Copper Nova left here a couple years ago, my buddy Charlie bought it. He drove it for the first summer after he got it going and decided that it needed more gear. He doesn't go on the highway. It only has a T10 4-speed, no overdrive. But he went ahead and put a 411 in that, and I set it up, and he was kind enough to give me the old parts back. He didn't enjoy the Detroit locker. They're pretty noisy and a lot of snap, crackle, and pop back there. So I put a clutch type positive traction in the back with a 411. He's wicked happy with it. It's wicked fast. Quick, fast, I guess. And that same day, I did a video on this. I have to go back and watch the video tonight myself just to watch the details. This is, from what I remember, one of the Dana Spicer aluminum housings that I bought wicked cheap on eBay. They're not wicked cheap anymore. I know a gentleman has asked me for the part number. I'm still looking for it. I keep forgetting to look for it, I should say. But it's made in Brazil, I believe, cast in Brazil. It's kind of ugly the way it's made. It is aluminum. 3¼ side Baron. If you watch all my videos, you know what I'm talking about when I start talking 9-inch Ford specs. If not, go back and watch. Aluminum Daytona style pinion support. I believe that's a Quick Performance 1350 yoke. Probably a cast yoke. It's perfect. This is the perfect strength-wise for this, hot rod truck. It's right in its element. The 370 case was a Yukon steel case, probably a little stronger, and I saved that for something else. It had a billet yoke and a few other options. And I wanted to be, like I mentioned, the 350 to 360 gear with a 30-inch rear tire, LS motor 480E is just a honeymoon combination. So that's what she's getting, the 360 gear. So this Detroit locker and this ring and pinion is leftover NASCAR stuff from Dale Earnhardt Incorporated, DEI. When it left here in the Nova, it was also in a nice DEI third member. That's still in the Nova, but so this has got some, unique heritage, if you will. Also, the third time this ring and pinion's been set up. I've tried to put it back where it was, but time will tell whether it's noisy or not. To be honest, I don't care. It's a better quality from most of your economy ring and pinions that you buy, and I warn everybody, I have a couple of rear ends I have to do for other people right now that you hope it's quiet. You set it up either to the installation specs or just by pattern or both. And that's all you can do, as long as you've done it right. Some of the lower quality, or some even the high quality ring and pinions, could be a lot quieter. They're not OEM, if you know what I mean. So time will tell whether she's noisy or not, or if I'll even be able to hear it over the rattling, banging, and the exhaust I'm going to put on it. So I'm going to stick this together. My axles, I think, are going to be here tomorrow. If not, Tuesday. I have to put wheel cylinders and clean up my early big Ford drum brakes, and I have new T-bolts, half-inch T-bolts, coming with the axles, and we'll go over the axle options like I mentioned probably tomorrow or the next day. So it's Sunday evening. Enjoy yourself. Hope you had a great weekend. Catch you soon.